I'm here at ASPI with Toby Feakin, who is the director of the International Cyber Policy Centre. And Toby, you and your colleagues have just produced a report called Cyber Maturity in the Asia-Pacific Region, 2014. So who are the grown-ups and who are the less mature ones? How is Australia going in this regard?
Malcolm, you'd be really pleased to know that Australia actually is some of the grown-ups in this regard. We're overall, out of 16 countries that we surveyed, Australia's at number 3 in the hit list.
Okay.
So we're doing pretty well.
Okay, so who's at the top and why?
The USA basically has got incredibly sophisticated policy directives, interacts with the private sector very well, militarily very highly developed, interacts with the public in a very mature fashion, and essentially they take a good advantage of the digital economy. So there's a bit of catch up to play.
Okay,
with the US.
so where are we a little? If the Americans are at number 1 and number 2.
UK. We use the UK. They're not in the Asia Pacific, but we use them as they're one of the other close alliance partners.
You're just an old imperialist. You just want to bring them back east.
Here we go. No, definitely not an imperialist. But we were advised by our expert group that it would be wise to include the UK. I'll shuffle out that one, Malcolm.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But Australia do very, very well. The one area I think where there's always room for improvement is that interaction with the private sector. I think, and that would fall into your line as much as anyone's, I guess, in government.
No, absolutely. So reading it, it seemed to me that where you thought Australia could do better was having a more coordinated approach at the level of government.
Sure.
So just enlarge on that.
Well, I guess there's a bit of a question mark at the moment over where Australia is heading in terms of certainly its cybersecurity policy. The last kind of coherent document that we had was in 2009. That hasn't been repeated as yet. And to be frank, in a fast-moving space like this where threats develop and change, that's just frankly not quite good enough. So I think really what we need to see is a new cross-government policy, just restating how the Australian government perceives the interaction between the different departments, what it thinks the threat environment is actually like, and how it responds to that as well.
Okay, and that's well noted. As the Minister for Communications, I'm taking this counsel from you.
That's what it's all
listening
about.
Carefully. But you also suggested that Australia was not engaging with businesses on the digital economy issues as well as we could.
I think it's across the board. Everyone understands that within this area you have to engage with the private sector. And we see it in a lot of the policy documents that there's always a statement, we must engage with the private sector and do it more effectively. But really, there needs to be a little bit more behind that. Is there a little bit of coordination that could go on across departments, not just communications, but with the Attorney General's team and all those different departments to try and understand, okay, how do you begin to really listen to the private sector voices and get them driven into the core of policy making in this domain? And I think that's pretty vital.
Yeah, well, I can just tell you on that score, we do have a very ambitious digital policy agenda, an e-government policy agenda, and we are establishing an ICT advisory group with leaders in the private sector for the very singular purpose of achieving that level of engagement. So we've anticipated your criticism, and I hope in the 2014 edition we'll be moving up a little bit on that score.
Well, this is it. Next year, of course, you'll be scoring 10 out of 10 on that score, Malcolm, from your initiatives. I have no doubt. So well done.
Well, that'll be good. Okay, thanks a lot, Toby. And this is all available on the ASPI website.
Absolutely, yes. And there's an infographics package that people can tinker with to their heart's content and have a delve into the information that we've researched over the last 12 months.
Great stuff. Thank you.
Thanks very much.